The film opens with the quiet intensity of an airplane landing. From it steps Jimmy Vickers, a former Special Ops interrogation officer, clearly burdened by grief. As he listens to an old voicemail from his mother, we get a glimpse of the man behind the soldier, a loving son returning home, only to find his world in ruins. The voicemail is warm, motherly, and full of hope. But Jimmy's haunted expression tells us that hope is long gone. Something terrible has happened. Jimmy soon visits a bar run by old acquaintances, Debs and Terry. There, he begins digging for answers. He asks about the night of the fire, the night his parents died. At first, Terry pretends to know nothing. But after some pressure, he breaks down and admits that he saw 4 masked men breaking into Jimmy's family home. He heard the terrifying screams, but fear kept him frozen. That guilt now eats away at him. The next day, Jimmy visits the blackened ruins of his parents' garage, the very place where they were burned alive. The pain on his face is unmistakable. Flashbacks show George and Margaret Vickers, his kind and humble parents, eagerly preparing for their son's return. It's a brief moment of warmth before the story takes a dark turn. Meanwhile, a group of violent criminals led by Warren prepares to rob a girl delivering cash to the bank. Their plan is ruthless, but it goes sideways when George Vickers intervenes. In a moment of bravery, George kills one of the robbers to protect the innocent. But instead of being hailed a hero, George is arrested by the police for manslaughter. The system fails him completely. When Warren, the gang leader, learns that his younger brother was the one killed in the failed heist, he flies into a rage. Bent on revenge, he gathers his crew and attacks the Vickers family home. George and Margaret are bound and tortured. In a chilling act of cruelty, the gang locks them inside the garage, pours gasoline over everything, and sets it ablaze, burning them alive. Back in the present, Jimmy receives intel from his friend Griffin, who confirms that a black BMW was spotted leaving the scene. Jimmy suspects Warren. After reviewing CCTV footage, he begins putting the pieces together. Later, at his parents' graves, he meets his estranged wife, Morgan. There's still love between them, but too much has happened. She offers him emotional support, even though she senses that Jimmy is about to do something irreversible. Griffin confirms that the car belongs to Warren. Jimmy tracks him down and ambushes him, taking him to an isolated location. There, he ties him up inside a car. Warren, arrogant and unremorseful, laughs in Jimmy's face, admitting that he not only killed Jimmy's parents, but also assaulted his mother before the fire. That's the final straw. Jimmy gets what he needs, names of the other gang members, then sets the car ablaze. Warren screams as the flames consume him. Jimmy walks away, injured but relentless. Badly wounded, Jimmy goes to Morgan's home. She is shocked but takes him in and treats his injuries. This moment shows a softer side of Jimmy, the broken man beneath the rage. Morgan helps him clean up and rest, and despite everything, their emotional bond slowly resurfaces. News of Warren's gruesome death spreads quickly. Panic sets in among the remaining gang members, Rob, Leon, and Caleb. They suspect someone is leaking information but can't figure out who. Meanwhile, Griffin warns Jimmy that he's going too far, but Jimmy argues that the justice system failed him. He believes this is the only way left. This belief is confirmed when Griffin witnesses corruption firsthand. A shopkeeper is killed during a robbery, but when Griffin pleads with Chief Inspector Holland to intervene, Holland dismisses it as just another insurance job. It's clear, justice has a price, and the police have sold out. Jimmy continues his mission. His next target is Ryan, who works at a construction site. Jimmy captures him, tortures him for information, then executes him in a terrifyingly symbolic way, by pouring cement down his throat, killing him slowly and painfully. The message is clear: eye for an eye. The police are now fully aware of Jimmy's actions. When they find Ryan's body, they realize the killer is meticulous, skilled, and personal. They trace CCTV footage showing Jimmy abducting someone, and now he's officially a wanted man. They question Morgan, but she lies to protect him. As Jimmy becomes harder to trace, two mystery men arrive and whisk him away. They bring him to Colonel Leach, an army official who once trained Jimmy. Leach isn't there to stop him. Instead, he gives Jimmy 48 more hours to finish what he started. The military sees Jimmy as one of their best, and they're not ready to lose him over this, yet. Jimmy's next kill is Leon. He stalks him outside a nightclub, captures him, and ties his arms and legs to a gate and a car. With brutal force, he drives the car forward, tearing Leon apart. It's one of the film's most graphic and intense scenes, underscoring Jimmy's unwavering resolve. Meanwhile, Colonel Leach confronts Chief Inspector Holland. He warns him to stay out of Jimmy's way. Holland is furious, but the colonel reminds him, Jimmy Vickers isn't just a vigilante, he's a national asset. Touch him, and you answer to the military. As Holland backs off, Jimmy moves to eliminate his final targets. He goes after Rob, using him as bait to get to their last associate, Caleb. Inside a drug processing den, Jimmy wipes out the guards and captures Caleb. In a cruel twist of poetic justice, Jimmy melts down the gang's drug cache into acid and pours it over Caleb, killing him as painfully as they killed his parents. Back at the station, Holland realizes that Griffin has been feeding Jimmy intel from the start. He demands answers, but Griffin refuses to betray his friend. He believes Jimmy did what the system never would, deliver true justice. As the film ends, Jimmy's mission is complete. His vengeance is brutal, but in his eyes, righteous. He disappears into the night, leaving behind a trail of blood, and a message: when the law fails, justice finds its own way.